Mullinger's Weekly Ramble.
It is Wednesday, the 4th of September 2024, and it's, of course, back to school week globally. So we're all sitting here kind of musing the end of summer, even though it's not the end of the beautiful weather, I hasten to add. We do still have possibly up to 2 months of beautiful weather, and we are months and months, we are a lifetime away from shoveling snow. So let's embrace this moment. I hope you've all had an absolutely wonderful summer. I know this is a very thoughtful period where we're all sitting around saying, oh, I can't believe how quickly summer went. And then suddenly now all these things keep cropping up. And I'm like, didn't we just do that? And I realized that was literally this time a year ago. My son River and I were playing soccer in the garden last night, and he was saying to me, why does time go so quickly, and how this year didn't go fast, but then last year went really fast. And I was trying to explain how just by the nature of time and how the perspective of time and the percentage of our lifetimes relating to time is what makes everything go so quickly. And of course, I was doing that kind of old person thing of saying, just you wait till you get to my age. And it has, but let's be honest, if you've had a good summer, it has gone quickly. And I guess this is the crucial point, isn't it? That if time's going quickly, that means that you're having a good time. So, I mean, I'm preaching here something that I'm not always good at myself, because I am someone that often, I picked up my diary from a year ago, and I couldn't believe that it was this time a year ago today a year ago we were leaving England. Yesterday a year ago, we all went to our very first Premiership football match to see Wolverhampton Wanderers, the Wolves, play Crystal Palace. Then went and watched numerous other football games in the pub. A glorious English day. It was our last time in England, so I haven't been back for a year since then. As all of you know, at the start of the summer, my father came to visit us here. But all of this is to say that, like you, possibly like you, I don't want to cast aspersions. I don't want to say that you're definitely feeling this way, but I'm feeling like summer went very quickly. On the positive side, like I say, I'm definitely embracing the fact that I did a lot, and I tried to put work somewhat where possible on the back burner, to focus on family time, or indeed, when the children were in camp, that's when I did my work, so that when they were home, we could have fun. It's a weird thing. I remember when I worked in an office before having children in London. It was a very weird time, because suddenly, before you have kids, you're not really aware. It's summer because the weather's nice, but you're not really aware of summertime, meaning the children are home. And to be honest, this is the thing that's a great relief, I think, for anyone that is indeed employed or self-employed, or indeed does anything for money, whatever it is you do for money, whatever it is, as long as it's legal, that's fine. This is a week of somewhat relief, whereby we can finally get back to it. The summer does feel extreme. It feels about 2 weeks too long. And you've got your beloveds around, but of course they are on their constant shakedown of needing time, energy, but most terrifyingly, financial. So they're constantly asking for stuff, is what I'm trying to say. So it feels like the right time. I feel good that school's back. We can all get back into normal routines. I'm very relieved I can start going back to the YMCA. I took a few months off the YMCA. As many of you know, I was injured. I had a fractured ribs that my son Hunter did while we were trampoline fighting, not cage fighting. We were doing a UFC. I think it was around the time that we heard that the Conor McGregor and Chandler fight wasn't happening. So we decided to stage our own UFC fight in a netted trampoline cage, and he broke my rib because well, again, it was devastatingly painful, but also I was also quite proud. Anyway, also relieved that it was my rib he broke and not someone else. Anyway, the point I'm getting to is I've had to take a couple of months off the YMCA because of that, and then we've been obviously busy with the kids. So anyway, this week, back to normal. Today's going to be an extremely busy day. 10,000 plus copies of the Maritime Edit will be arriving with us to be envelope stuffed for subscribers. I believe the newsstand copies are currently on their way, being hot-footed across the country to hundreds of independent retailers across the country. But yes, it is our job to do stuff on the envelopes. It's a funny thing. I remember when I was a temp, when I was doing temp work when I was at university, at Kingston University in South London, and I used to do envelope stuffing for Range Rover or Land Rover magazine, whichever it is. So me and my friend Paul Lawson would get on a bus for an hour, and we'd stand in this kind of warehouse shoving magazines into envelopes. And I remember thinking to myself, age 19, 20, like, I really probably should start focusing on my university work so that, you know, this doesn't become my job. So I don't end up, shoving magazines into envelopes for the rest of my life. And that was 27 years ago, and I'm still doing it now. It's what I'm trying to say. So, be careful what you wish won't happen, because the universe will make it happen. So, yeah, I will be indeed spending my day in a dusty, cold warehouse, shoving magazines into envelopes, exactly as I was doing at 19, and now I'm doing at 46 is my age. I got it wrong last week. And I would just like to say thank you so much to Julie for correcting me. Julie and I are exactly the same age, and wonderful Julie Wood, who, I mean, if anyone lives in St. John, you know Julie Wood. If anyone has ever visited the wonderful Cineplex in St. John, one of my happiest places to go. Partly because obviously I love movies, but partly because also Julie is absolutely amazing. Julie would always cheer you up. Anyway, Julie and I are the exact same age, and so after last week's podcast, she did message me to say, "Hey, don't age us." And she's right. In our late 40s, we can't afford to lose. We can't afford to lose time. So all of that, to come full circle, is summer's gone past, but embrace the fact it's gone past, because I used to get quite gutted about that. I used to get quite maudlin about the time going by, and as we've established before, and I will point out, my voice sounds a little bit croaky. It is. I'm recording this at 6 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, 4th of September. Because again, busy day ahead. I've got to get all the kids back to school stuff ready, and spend my day stuffing tens of thousands of magazines into envelopes. Weirdly, worryingly, it is dark outside, which is not good. I believe it hasn't been dark at this time. Uh, 6 a.m. What is pitch black? I mean, so that is a sign that summer's ending. But like I said, there's still good weather, so let's embrace that. I can still be swimming in the river for a couple more weeks, maybe, and then suddenly overnight we'll be skating on it. Well, you'll be skating on it. I'll be standing awkwardly on it. Someone told me they saw a video. Sean Collins, the comedian, I'm doing a show with this Saturday night in Halifax, told me we were on an Instagram live last night promoting the show. He's doing a big show at the Lighthouse Arts Centre in Halifax. Me and Ron James are jumping on the show. Dan, the amazing illusionist, will also be on the show. It's being live streamed, stand-up special, all this stuff. Very exciting. Not many people I would get on the bus for 7 hours for on a Saturday when it's my only weekend off this year. But Sean Collins asked. Anyway, Sean said he watched a video of me trying to skate and said that he thought I was going to break my ankles by the way that I was skating. So there's a compliment. So it's dark out, but I've obviously been up for some time. I say up, awake. I think I talked about this before. That idea that it's a crazy thing. Every morning when I wake up, every morning, my ADHD brain just goes into absolute overdrive. And you've all heard of that thing, 448 psychosis, which is both a thing, but also the name of a play by an incredible British author playwright called Sarah Kane, who I actually studied at university in Kingston, and it was one of my absolute heroes. Tragic story, but 448 relates to the time of day in which the brain is at its lowest ebb. So I believe that is the point where the brain is at its least able to function, as we kind of know. I mean, very few things happen. Good things are happening at 4:48 in the morning. Either if you're still up at 4:48 a.m., that's not a good thing. If you're withdrawing cash from an ATM at 4:48, that is definitely not a good thing. But also, if you've woken up at 4:48, the brain is not, or my brain is not going, hey, yay, life, life, isn't life amazing? My brain is not doing that. My brain is doing whatever the opposite of, isn't life amazing? Celebrate life, whatever. It's the opposite. It's basically the point at which my brain is either reminding me of embarrassing things I've done throughout my entire life, reminding me of all my failures, reminding me of all my insecurities. But basically, it's like it's the mental depiction of just rubbing salt into every kind of emotional wound that I have. It's taking trauma salt and rubbing it into emotional wounds. So my brain is not in a good place, and it's so interesting to me how there's these tiny quick fixes in life for feeling like that. Like when I'm lying in bed feeling, I wake up and basically what the voices are saying is, first of all, I'm stressing out about all the things I have to do. My brain's going, you got to show next week, got to show this week, got to write for this, you got to write this, you got to don't forget you need a chapter for your next book. Don't forget you got to there's all these things, and then it's like, and then you go, oh my goodness, you haven't done the, I don't know, the family photo album. You haven't organised this for the kids. Oh my goodness, it's your wife's 50th birthday next month. Why haven't you done this? And then it's like, how on earth would I ever? And of course, I mean, and my wife is the most organised, brilliantly level-headed person who can basically, wake up, go, okay, right now. The reason I wake up so early isn't always the voice in my head. It's she gets up very early to either go to the gym or go for a walk before everyone else is up. So if you drive down Rosso Road at 5 o'clock in the morning, you can often see her and her friend Steph marching down the road. They do something incredible. Like that, it's walking, and it's not quite power walking, but it is power walking because they bash out something like 10K in an hour. Ridiculous. So anyway, when she gets up, that's when my brain goes into overdrive. But she's a very, very well organized, level headed, well balanced person, which is, I think, well, I'm very, very lucky to have her, where she knows that there's a million and one things to do. And to be fair, she does most of the things around the house, most of the admin. She is the CFO of the company. She handles all of the things. But I mean, she doesn't get overwhelmed with it, is what I'm trying to say. She can sit at a desk and go, okay, here's a list here's what I need to do. I will do what I can and I will get it done and the world will not end. And yet I find myself stressing about all these things. And then weirdly, when we're talking about looking back in time, I look back at my diary from this time a year ago and go, wow, I was freaking out about this show, about that show. I was freaking out about this. How am I going to get there? How am I going to get... But it all just happened, and you just did it. And then this time a year ago, I was freaking out because I had a show in Niagara on a Thursday night, and then I had a show the next day in Fredericton at the Playhouse, which was sold out, which is always one of my highlights of my year. And it was a huge panic to me of what if Air Canada doesn't deliver on the flight the following morning. But again, plan very level headed. She's like, we'll book Porter and Air Canada, and then if one of them cancels in the morning, then you've got the other one. Genius. Always it has solutions. Again, I don't know what I would do without it. But anyway, all of this is, I guess, to say that I wake up and my brain is I think I'm gonna have a meltdown. And then I get up, I shave, I shower, drink water. It's funny how all these things that we're all looking for quick fixes and solutions in life. And it's funny how many times I'll hear like people ask my trainer Tara, they'll be like, so what should I do about this? And I always get hungry, and how should I? And it's like we all know the answer to so many problems is drink water, right? And yet we never do it. The amount of times that in the middle of the day, I'll be thinking, oh my goodness, why am I hungry? Why am I so fatigued? Why can't I keep my eyes open? Oh, I haven't drank any water all day. Like just little things we forget. And it's weird, but just by getting up, like now, just by talking to you, I feel positive again. And I've said this before, half jokingly, that this is somewhat therapy for me, but it's all of the thoughts that have been shooting around my head, um, uh, an hour and a half ago, an hour and 12 minutes, whatever time 4:48 was. Um, I'm now able to get out, and it's interesting how much I love this podcasting process. How I love it in the same way I love stand up. Although obviously this could be something that's terrifying. I almost shouldn't talk about this because it could panic me and make me go inside myself. But with stand up, I have these ideas during the day, and of course I have the honed bits, but I have the ideas during the day, and I write them and I go and perform them. And you all kindly give me this kind of instant feedback. And sometimes, sometimes something I've just thought of that day gets a huge laugh. Something I've made up on the spot gets a huge laugh. Sometimes something I've honed for years gets nothing, and I'm wondering why. But I go through it and I get this instant feedback with this podcast. I sit here as per the title, literally rambling, and I have no idea what you're all thinking. Like, and I mean, maybe I should just do it, and if you like it, you'll keep listening, and if you don't, you don't. But it's a fascinating thing just sitting here splurging. Anyway, so back to school, back to work, stuffing envelopes today. Uh, Hopefully getting back to the YMCA, get back to my routine of swimming and working out and feeling good. I'll quickly run through what I've been doing this past week, and then we will dive into the questions, and which this week's bloody hell, 14 minutes of bollocks. I've been rambling already. Jesus. We've got some amazing questions this week. Amazing Mandolin Donovan, who tragically was in hospital last week, but is now on the mend at home. Oh my goodness. I mean, literally some of these questions. We've got questions from Big D's Poutine. We've got pictures from Paula Comet. We've got pictures from Jared Lewis Davidson, Sean Smith. And we've got so many questions. So we will get to those. Oh, I also my friend Trish Fleming just wanted to say, sending you all my love, and I know Trish is has been unwell for some time, and her and her husband Mike are always a beacon of light and joy at Punchlines Comedy Club and other shows I see them at. And I just want to say, Trish, that love you very much, and I know after a period in the hospital, you're back home. I hope that's going well, and my thoughts are always with you, Trish. So and much love also out there to all the teachers. All the teachers, it's a big week for them, and best of luck to all the. If there are kids that listen to this, I know some of my son's friends listen. Best of luck. I hope I sincerely hope you did all have a wonderful summer. But being back at school is something to embrace and be excited about. So. I was talking about one thing I did this week was I actually reread the book Hanif Qureshi's The Black Album. I don't know if anyone's read that. An absolutely amazing 1995 piece of post-colonial literature by the author of the amazing film My Beautiful Laundrette. Now, if you've read my autobiography, you will know that The Black Album is one of my favorite books. Means a lot to me. I studied it at university, and it's about a student at his. He's a clean-cut young man from the provinces. He's described as on the back named Shahid, and he meets Didi Osgood, who's a college lecturer who teaches him about everything from Prince to all literature. Now, it's set in 1989, and I fell in love with both the book and indeed the lecturer who was teaching it to me at university. I won't say which university, just in case, actually, I think she is still there. But I finished the book and it has a wonderful final line, which I think I've kind of forgotten about this final line. I've read the book so many times, obviously when studying it, and my amazing lecturer who, James Miller, she actually bought me a signed first edition of the book, which is what I'm holding in my hand right now. And at the end of the book, after going through various um, traumas and emotional roller coasters, they are on a English beach somewhere drinking wine, and this is what it says. It says, oh no, they're on the seafront anyway. He didn't have to think about anything. They looked across at one another as if to say, "What new adventure is this?" "Until it stops being fun," she said. "Until then," he said. What a beautiful final line. Everything we should be doing in this back to school, just keep doing it, and if it's provided it's legal and safe, or um, in keep doing whatever you're doing until it stops being fun. I mentioned earlier Sarah Kane, who wrote that play 448 Psychosis. She also wrote one of my favourite plays of all time, which again is one I studied at university, called Blasted, which I believe was before I saw it. It was first performed in '95 at the Royal Court in Chelsea, in Sloane Square in London. I saw it a couple of years later with my friend Rob Bound. I mean, it was incredibly controversial. It's extremely well worth looking up. Sarah Kane's Blasted. Um, all the critics came out and said, uh, absolutely attacked it and said it was just a kind of shock tactics. And then tragically, after Sarah Kane, who killed herself, I believe exactly, it was 25 years ago. She took her life, and which again, when you reread or rewatch 448 Psychosis, which is essentially about that, um, it has a whole different level. But interestingly, a lot of the critics kind of reassessed her work post her passing. The Guardian's Michael Billington absolutely savaged it. Said I got it wrong. Um, and yeah, it's interesting that someone can write something so profoundly brilliant, and the critics can dump all over it, and then when she passes, suddenly it becomes acceptable to them. Anyway, one of the actors that appeared in Vinay Patel, who appeared in 448 Psychosis, um, well, the way they describe it here is the title refers to the time in the early hours of the morning when despair and clarity coalesce. Um, and I saw that as well. Again, it was, I mean, absolutely devastating. It was kind of, but obviously it's about depression, but one of the things that Vinay said was that rereading the play, what strikes me is how it gets at the idea that you're always searching for a consistent version of yourself, and you're doomed never to find it. And that is, there's something about the stillness of the morning that lets you have that sort of sanity and clarity because the world is quiet. Your thoughts can be slightly more lucid. I realize now that I was scared to identify with that stuff. The last line of the play is, "Please open the curtains," and there was a yearning to be beyond that despair. Well, it's interesting. That is kind of what I was saying. It, when you wake up feeling that despair, get up, open the curtains, drink a pint of water, record a podcast, and that's and it's one of those things um, when you do comedy for a living, you're out there all the time. It's all about kind of pretending everything's easy and fun. Obviously, sometimes I wish my brain would shut up. But the great thing about stand up or focus or recording a thing like this is your primary focus of that time, and you do it. So let's whiz through the week. I last went after last Wednesday. Last Wednesday, I when I want to retract something as a critic, not because someone has passed, but because I didn't just reevaluate it. I did that terrible thing last week, last Wednesday's podcast, where I watched um, Adam Sandler's "Love You," his new special. Watched the first half an hour, didn't really click with it or had some objections to it, and then I then commented on it, having not watched the end, then watched the end, and the end is absolutely magical. It's obviously like a lot of Adam Sandler's work. It's very it's putting on your emotional heartstrings. It's somewhat twee, but essentially it's him singing a really, really beautiful song to all the great comedians who've ever lived, and really just, well, I guess going back to the point we are talking about before, it's a wonderful song about the fact that comedy cheers us up, that comedy has this power to take us when we're at our lowest ebb. And there's another thing to do. If you wake up at 4:48 in the morning and you're feeling that despair, stick on a stand-up special. But what you shouldn't do is only watch half of it and then slag it off on a podcast, because you might live to regret it. But what I really liked about Adam Sandler's thing was it made me cry. Both Adam, it's a song, him singing a song with visuals coming up of all the great comedians and all the people that we've lost, and celebrating all the great comedians of now. And what it made me think was, how lucky I am as a comedy fan that I have that we're able to, going through life with ADHD without meds. I am white knuckling it. I know people often talk about, doing gummies or microdosing, all this stuff, and that isn't for me. And maybe over the years when I was younger, I was almost certainly kind of self-medicating with alcohol, which is obviously something that I've um, not well cut down on consuming, but also I don't use it in that way, so to speak. I enjoy a glass of wine with my wife, but I certainly don't party anymore, and I certainly don't use it for those reasons. So I'm kind of white knuckling it through life. So things like an amazing wife, quality time with my children, hobbies are the things that they get me through. But comedy is a thing. I mean, my oldest son and I, Hunter, have just started watching The American Office. We, as a family, we've all kind of got caught up in that whole "that's what she said" thing on everything, and so we thought, hey, let's watch some of it. So anyway, point being, in addition to feeling lucky and happy as a comedy fan, I also thought I'm very, very lucky to do that job. Now, obviously, I'm fully aware, and obviously you know and I know, that I'm not a successful comedian like the comedians that he's talking about. But I mean, it depends I guess it all boils down to what a person's benchmark for success is. I mean, for me, I never in a million years thought, for me as a child, success would have been having the confidence to talk to someone else, talk to a kid in my class, or have the confidence to kick a ball on a field. So for me, it feels like the greatest success that I'm able to do that now and sit and rabbit on into a microphone at 6:30 in the morning on a Wednesday, but also that I'm even able to do stand up. So for me, I think I've possibly rambled on about this before, but it's just the greatest feeling in the world knowing that I'm able to do that job, and I'm able to put a roof over a family's head doing stand-up comedy. And so, what Adam Sandler's song spoke to me about was that, wow, what a incredible. I should be. I feel incredibly proud to do that job. That even if just 10 people laugh, um, a week at something I've done, whether it be a Facebook reel, which, by the way, hats off to Tyler Warren Ellis, who was churning out Facebook reels of all of my old and new jokes, and they're all going on TikTok and Facebook. And also, I should say, welcome to all the new listeners who have been messaging me saying they've just discovered it through. If any comedians are listening, get in touch with Tyler Warren Ellis, who is a master, a maestro of filming stand up. Now, he's a master of filming stand up for stand up specials, i.e., in the traditional cinematic landscape format 285 or 185, whatever, 235, 185. And again, one of his first ever jobs was shooting a stand up special for me at Harbour Station, which went on Amazon Prime, was praised by Seinfeld's publicist, was praised by the director of television at Just for Laughs. Tyler has now turned his camera around. I'm sure it's more to it than that, and learned how to amazingly even follow. And hats off to Shelby for also managing this. I mean, again, I pace a lot on stage, so the fact that Tyler is able to keep up with that in a different format. So these videos have been going out on TikTok of old bits, new bits, improv bits, audience interaction moments, and it's brought. I mean, I think my follower count on Facebook has gone up thousands in the last couple of months thanks to this. So, and lots of people have messaged saying that they now listen to the podcast. So anyway, welcome to those people. I'm going off the point a bit in here. What am I trying to say? I guess I'm trying to say the fact that anyone, the fact that I do a job that involves some people occasionally laughing and feeling good is the greatest feeling in the world. And listen, brain, why can't you fucking remember that at 4:48 in the morning? So, oh my god, I haven't even got through this. This was last Wednesday. I biked to the wharf with River. We had a picnic of Dairy Lunchables. No, I think they're called something else now. Lunch mates. Anyway, we played soccer. We jumped off the wharf. That might be our last jump off the wharf this summer. Jumped off the wharf. Huntston came down and joined us. We just had a bit of fun. Next morning, my wife was away. She was actually at an event in Moncton at the Delta Hotel in Moncton, which has an amazing new GM, by the way, of Alex Thorne, who is just, I mean, that hotel, I must have done more shows in that hotel than almost any other. I would say upwards of 30 or 40 shows there, corporates and all sorts, keynotes for organizations, must have done more than 40 in the last decade. And I've stayed there many more times. And always been a lovely stay, but he's taken it to the next level. The Windjammer restaurant has been overhauled. It's got this incredible new menu, new decor by the amazing Judith Mackin of Tuck Studio. Anyway, my wife and her friend Celine went to an event there, and they just had a phenomenal time. So anyway, the next morning I got up early. And I watched Maxine finally, the Maxxxine, the third movie in the trilogy by Ty West, starring Mia Goth. The first one was, of course, X, which was about a group of teenagers going to make an X-rated movie and then getting, murdered, obviously, slashed up. Texas Chainsaw Massacre crossed with Deep Throat, I suppose is one way of putting it. It was followed up by Pearl, which was a prequel, which was an absolute masterpiece. And Mia Goth is an actress. I mean, she's one of those once in a generation actresses. And Maxine, while I mean, for me, it's just it's set in the 80s, VHS, the porn industry, a murderer on the loose, a throwback to VHS video nasties. Getting a bit sick of Kevin Bacon as a bad guy. Kevin Bacon's snarling one note approach to playing a villain, sucking on a cigarette, greasy face, all dirty and skinny. Kevin Bacon's basically playing the same part, whether he's playing a dirty cop in a TV show or he's trotting out the same part. There's another show with Kevin Bacon. Oh yeah, the bad new Bad Boys movie. Anyway, apart from that, Maxine not as amazing as it could have been, but loved it. And then what did I do then? Walked Willow, who by the way is better. And I think I mentioned last week Willow was unwell. My beautiful mini doodle dog actually had Lyme disease. It turned out, and the antibiotics are working. Obviously, still strictly on the program. She's back to her old self, and my goodness, it is a very, very traumatic thing when you see your dog not doing well. Me and the kids went for a bike ride, biked to the Sandwich Junkies in Rossay. Friday was the one day that we said, right, no work, no work, no work. Got up, went to the Algonquin. Hunter, God bless him, great kid. He was off to a sleepover at one of his besties' houses at the weekend, but offered, volunteered to go and help his wonderful grandmother, my mother-in-law, and go and help them for the day. And yeah, what a good boy. So we went off sunning it up at the Algonquin, and Hunter went off to help his grandmother. What a good boy. That is the kind of kid I think I was. Anyway, then the next day we had, but both kids were away at sleepovers. So Pam and I got back from the Algonquin, and then we biked from our house to Reeds Point Pub. What a absolute joy that is. I mean, I know I've raved about Reeds Point Pub before. Many of you will have had the Kingston Challenge burger. You don't have to have the Kingston Challenge. There's lots of different size burgers, and their burgers are absolutely delicious, like the real deal, real burgers. They do offer gluten-free options as well, I would point out. So the burger is made obviously without breadcrumbs. They have gluten-free buns. So we biked all the way down Gondola Point Road, one of the most beautiful roads in the world, I believe. Just cannot believe those views. Cannot believe we live in a place like that. Got down to the Gondola Point ferry boat, which feels weird to say outside of a stand-up. Gondola Point ferry boat. I get onto the Gondola Point ferry boat, get halfway across the water. Someone arrives 10 minutes late. We go back to get that person. I can't normally remember my stand-up off stage, but there we go. Went there, we had a burger, a couple of Radlers, a couple of glasses of wine. Cycled back. That was me, a couple of Radlers, her, a couple of wines. Wouldn't cycle after 4 drinks, I just want to hasten to add. And then went to celebrate our lovely godson's second birthday. Sunday, living the dream. Look at this. It says Walmart times 2 in my diary. That's what I think. I ended up going to Walmart twice. That is when you're having a party day. Walmart twice. Did 2 walks with the dog. Made spin class at 9 a.m. Went to a social cycle. Great spin class. Got me fired up for the day. And then that night watched the movie Arthur the King. Ridiculous name. I'm going to drink a sip of water if you don't mind. Sorry. Oh my God, what a horribly noisy way to drink coffee. Next time I'll move away from the mic. As you can tell, we don't edit this. Yeah. Well, James, you're rambling. Arthur the King, Mark Wahlberg, not often a seal of quality. Obviously, I mean, not to diss Mark Wahlberg, but he'll do any old shit, won't he? Because loves money, has lots of businesses he has to prop up, and so he just does every movie going. But some of them are great, and this one was. It's based on a true story about one of these these triathlon people, but it's like an adventure one through a jungle and a forest, and I mean, absolutely insane stuff. But it did make me think, I'm wasting my life away. What am I doing? I've never run a marathon. I've never done a triathlon. I need to do one of these things. I mean, these adventure things are just ridiculous. It's like, 20, it's like 30 miles through the woods. And then it's like 30 miles like not 30 miles climbing, but millions of like climbing ridiculous rock faces, um, kayaking for 30 miles, just absolutely insane stuff. As basic, and if you love that kind of adventure, overcoming adversity, person proving to themselves they can do something. He had some record number he was like one of the biggest, one of the most competing ones, but never won. He basically competed like 20 times and was a legend, but for basically having just never won, because he's the equivalent of like I said, he kept trying but never succeeded. I guess he's the the adventure sports equivalent of my comedy career. Keeps trying, never succeeds. But point being, is a dog helps them. I won't spoil it, but anyway, a beautiful dog. It's this lovely story, and the dog is called Arthur. That's what's called Arthur the King. Ridiculous. So just want to see Arthur the King? No, I don't want to see no medieval sword in a stone bullshit. But it's not that. It's about and it's on Prime, so the price is right. Well, it's not right, is it? It's $20 a month and bloody adverts like we're back in 1980s. And at least on the VHS, it's in the old days when you recorded the TV show on the VHS, you could fast forward through the ads. But Bezos won't let you fast forward the ads. So that was Sunday. Monday, which was back Labor Day. We decided to go and see my in-laws and go to Crystal Beach, one of my favourite beaches anywhere. Love jumping off the wharf at Crystal Beach. Absolutely gorgeous place. Weirdly, I thought it would be absolutely heaving packed, as it often is. I think I went there one New Brunswick day, and it was literally like an English beach. You could not move for people, and but no, hardly anyone there. No, me and River jumped off the wharf a few times. Lovely, jubbly, bish bash bosh, sweet as an out. Then I actually started watching that, like The Union, with Mark Wahlberg. Again, not. This is one of those ones that's interesting watching this guy. His character is supposed to be just a kind of a ordinary working class guy, and yet in every scene he's obviously wearing municipal clothing. Mark Wahlberg's clothing label, which is T-shirts that cost $100. Yeah, nice one. And then there's so much product placement in it throughout. It also seems to have, I think, been funded by. I know English tourism is down, so there's tons of scenes of like there's like a sequence taking place outside Matilda the musical in London, which was interesting because we were watching it on the day anniversary, the 1 year anniversary of us going to see Matilda. So anyway, what's quite nice about not having been away this past week is you're not kind of arriving back from a trip feeling down and thoughtful and maudlin and emotional, and then going straight back into it. We've been here, so I'm ready to get back to it. And yesterday, oh my goodness, whatever. Yeah, anyway, let's move on. So we're going to go to the questions. So just very quickly, the upcoming shows. Oh, John Wing, the amazing comedian John Wing is in St. John this Thursday. He's working on a ferry, but not a ferry, but a cruise ship. That's it. He's working on a ferry, but he's working on a cruise ship, and he's going to be in town. So I'm looking forward to seeing John. So Saturday night, I'm playing with Sean Collins at the Lighthouse. Art Centre. Book now. Tell your friends in Halifax to come. Next week, I'm at the St Andrews Comedy Festival all weekend. So 13th and 14th of September, Jimmy Flynn, Jeff Irwin, Ron James, and me. The following week, Wednesday 18th, just tickets went on sale for this. Hampton Brewing Company, had such fun at the Hampton Brewing Company last month. Doing another show there with my two friends, Corey Hartlin and Brady Mandeville. Ostensibly, we're doing this A because we love Hampton, B we want to do another show in this glorious outdoor venue. I will say the tickets went on sale yesterday and they are half sold out already. So please do get on that. And we're ostensibly rehearsing our Playhouse Fredrickson show, which is being filmed by Tyler Warren Ellis for my stand-up special this year. Is actually going to be multiple shows spliced together with behind-the-scenes footage. Since it's a greatest hits tour, I know, yes, ironically, new listeners, I call it greatest hits. It's my best jokes from the last 20 years. I know they're not greatest hits, and I know I'm not great, and I know they're not hits. It's an ironic name. It should be in inverted commas, really. A bit like Beaver Harbour. We like to keep our harbour clean. But so me, Brady, and Corey will be there Wednesday, 18th of September. Then the following week, I'm actually doing 3 shows at Theatre in Riverview, then the Playhouse in Fredrickson, then at the Imperial. I'm at the Playhouse twice in 1 week. Basically, I'm doing a series of shows with the Symphony New Brunswick, a globally admired symphony orchestra. If you don't know the story of Symphony New Brunswick, well, I've got good news for you. I was going to save the magazine reveals of what's in this issue of The Edit for next week once I actually physically have a copy in my hand. But there's got to be some benefits to listening to this podcast, so I'll give you a little sneak peek, a preview that the cover story is about Symphony New Brunswick, specifically about the amazing, and I didn't know this, maestra, not maestro, maestra Melanie Leonard, who is the maestra, the conductor, the leader of the Symphony New Brunswick, and she's an absolute hero. Her story is incredible. Heather McLean Reid has written the most beautiful story on the history of Symphony New Brunswick, decades at the top. Working with them it has been and is a joy, and I can't wait to share the stage with these world-class musicians. 23rd, 24th, 25th of September. 3 theatres, three of the biggest cities in New Brunswick, and then that Friday I'm back at the Playhouse. Okay, so let's go to the questions. There is so many good ones. I was just messaged one last night, which I had to screenshot, which is right here, which was a question from Mia Bruce. Has sent me a question saying, "Do you do meet and greets at all your shows?" The answer here is absolutely yes. I do meet and greets at all of them, but they're not, obviously, I don't charge for them, obviously, because who would, I mean, I'm lucky that anyone's even willing to pay a cent to even see me, let alone meet me. But yes, I love meeting every single person that wants to meet after a show. Don't worry, if you don't want to meet me, you don't have to. You people can just about run out the door without me grabbing them. But I will say, if I'm in a club, I'll always make it my business to be at the door to shake the hand of everyone, or indeed thank everyone who's come. And in theatres, I'll always be at a merch table afterwards. Anyone wants to come and buy a book, or just come and say hi, just come and take a picture together, or just generally people come up and have the most wonderful stories about how we know each other, or how our paths have crossed before, or 1 degree of separation, or how they dated my wife in high school, whatever it is. So yes, but there's never a show, corporate, private, theatre, club, that I will leave the stage and then be just backstage. Never. And that will never happen. Um, sometimes it takes me a bit longer to get like bigger theaters. It takes a while to get to the lobby, but I'll always be there, and I will not leave until every single person that wants to chat has had a chat. So next question, Mandolin Donovan, the wonderful Mandy, who's now home after her hospital injury. She has got, here are 5 recent weird funny articles in the headlines, and that we've compiled a list of questions to each. Story. So this was a story in the news. I suppose we should do more news on this podcast. What's been going on in the news? I don't know. No newspapers here. Kamala Harris is doing things, saying things, and Trump is saying things back. That's all I know from the news. But Mandy, thanks to Mandy, she's sharing stuff. Escapee hamster stops traffic. Pardon me. A hamster managed to escape its cage in a car, causing a driver to pull over on a busy road to catch it. The little critter brought traffic to a halt as the driver frantically searched for it. Well, that sounds like. Was that here? That sounds like something that would happen in New Brunswick. No, it wouldn't be, because it would have been front page news. Have I ever had a pet cause chaos in an unexpected place? Yes, I have. My wonderful last year's Hampton soccer tournament. We don't take Willow to football games anymore because she goes mad because she loves chasing balls. Oi oi. And anyway, during a game, I somehow Willow got loose, ran away onto the pitch, started chasing the ball around, chasing the players. The refs going mad, the kids are going mad, the parents are laughing. Some are laughing, some are just angry. There's ones that take it really seriously. And Pam just looks at me as if to say, "No effing way am I doing this." So then James Mullinger, local comedian, is running around the pitch chasing a dog who will not stop. And Willow also does this trick where she pauses, pretends she's waiting for you, and as soon as you get to you, she jumps off again. So that was an entertaining 13 minutes for everyone. What's the strangest thing I've had to stop my car for while driving? Well, I mean, you name an animal, right? I mean, A, living in New Brunswick, B, touring rural Maritimes, and C, traveling England. You name an animal, I've stopped my car for it, and if it's safe, I will stop my car for anything. Pigeon. Um, I mean, mainly the thing I've stopped my car for is needing a nap. Um, and this is kind of why I take the bus so much. Is I'm a terrible. I'm not a great driver, but also, which is part of the ADHD, but also this also could be connected to ADHD. I need, whenever I get behind the wheel of a car, I need to sleep. Now I can go all day on the go. I can function on very little sleep working, but as soon as I'm behind the wheel of a car, um, if I was the driver, how would you have handled the situation differently? I would have made sure the hamster was fully. Hamster managed to escape. How did the hamster jump out the window? I would not have a loose hamster in the car. Do you think the hamster knew it was causing such a commotion? I would. This is Mandy's question. Do you think the hamster knew it was causing such a commotion? I would like to think it did. I would like to think that was the highlight of the hamster's life. I'd like to think the hamster, when it got to like, um, the hamster pub that night, the thirsty hamster bar and grill, that the hamster was like, "You won't fucking believe what I did earlier. That wanker didn't lock up the cage door when I jumped out." That would be my what's your favourite unexpected pet escape story? Well, that would have to be one of them, but my favourite unexpected pet escape story would have to be the story of the lady who arrived at Cancun Airport, opened her hand luggage. No, sorry, arrived at Cancun Airport, gets pulled in as she goes through the X-ray. The Mexican authorities open her suitcase, suspicious of something which showed up on the X-ray, and they discover her cat sleeping alive in her hand luggage. And they said, "How on earth did you get a cat out of Canada into Mexico?" And she said, "Well, I flew out of St. John Airport." And they went, "Ah, Why didn't you say so? And that is a true story. You can Google it. CBC cat escape. Um, wow, man, you sent a lot of these. A town elects a dog as the mayor. A small town in the US elected a dog as its honorary mayor. The dog, a golden retriever, now serves as the town's mascot and is involved in all local events. If you had to elect an animal as mayor, which animal would you choose? Would have to be Willow. My dog Willow would have to be. Um, I think a mini doodle would make a great mayor because in a small town, I'm not because there's a lot of work to do as a mayor, and I've got a lot of respect for the mayors. But looking cute has a lot to. And let's face it, one of the things, as you know, I mean, I've mentioned how much I love the privilege of doing a job that makes people laugh. What I love about walking my dog is that when people see the dog, it makes them inordinately happy, and seeing people react to the dog makes them happy. So I think I'm gonna go with Willow. What should be the dog's first official decision? The first official decision of the dog should be of course should dogs be allowed off the leash at the East Riverside Dog Park to run around, and should there be a cordoned off area for it? Maybe that could be one. How would you feel if your mare was replaced by a pet? Well, I wouldn't want that because I love my Nancy Grant, and she's very good to the pets. Do you think the dog is aware of its mayoral duties? I think the dogs are aware of so many things. Although weirdly, when we were watching last night, River and I were watching the Disney live action Lady and the Tramp, and the dog looks a bit like Willow. It's not the same breed, but it looks a bit like Willow, the lady dog. Um, as always, as whenever she sees a dog on screen, especially like one movie that Willow went mental for was Anatomy of a Fall. She was just barking, barking, barking. But she's lying on the couch, cuddled up with me and River under a blanket. We're watching Lady and the Tramp, and then the three dogs start having a conversation, right? Talking like human language, not barking, talking. And Willow leaps up and just goes mental, jumps across the tables, jumping up, jumping up, jumping up. And I just thought, what does she think's going on? Does she think that we're all sitting there watching TV, but then suddenly the TV's been replaced by a sheet of glass, and behind that sheet of glass, sitting on the shelf, is three dogs talking human to each other? Is that what she thinks is going on? Because if so, I don't want to say that my dog's a moron, but that's a bizarre state of affairs. So is the dog aware of its male duties? I would like to think so, but seeing how dogs react to dogs on TV, I don't know. What's the most unusual? Mandy, these questions are absolutely phenomenal. Did you and Nikki Payne come up with these together? Because this is absolutely amazing. We're running out of time, so I'm going to have to save Mandy's other three for next week. Each one is an amazing news story with 5 questions attached. And fair play to Liam Patrick McNara, great local comedian. He's commented, "Waiter, I'll have what she's having." Which, yes, I mean, I'm often asking you all for questions, and again, I'll answer anything. Like I've mentioned, if you have life questions, advice, if you have problems, I'm happy for this to become an agony uncle. Not that you're probably looking at me thinking we don't need advice from you, James. What's the most unusual election result you've ever heard of? Well, obviously Trump, and I hope I'm only referring to that one time. I'm not saying the same thing in a few months. Okay, well, whiz through the other questions. Author Sarah Butland, how does one become a best-selling author? Well, Sarah, you're one of my favorite authors. So how does one become James Munger's favorite author? By writing beautiful books and by being a wonderful person with a great family. That's you, Sarah. But how does one become a bestseller? Well, I guess you're referring to very kindly that my book has now officially become national bestseller, which simply means that it's sold 5,000 copies. I believe that's the benchmark, or the whatever it's called. That's what defines a. So very kindly, it is now in a reprint, and I should point out actually on the 21st of September, on Buy a New Brunswick Book Day, I will be doing a very special in-person event to celebrate the reprint of Brett Happen's Living the Canadian Dream at Indigo, East Point, St. John, 10:30 a.m. Interview, signing, just come and say hi, anything you like. So if anyone wants to come and do anything in person, maybe we'll record it for a podcast. That could be a good idea. But yes, the book has been republished, second reprint. I guess I mean, to answer your question, how does one become a best-selling author? I mean, it's probably a question for Colleen Hoover rather than me. However, I will say, um, at our at our kind of level, it's just it's the grind. Well, I have to give credit to my son Hunter, and you, I know, have an amazing son, Wild Willie, Sarah, who is fast becoming one of Canada's most respected book critics. So having Hunter selling my books on merch tables is a huge help, because Hunter is a master of selling books. Someone will come and buy one, and he'll say, "Don't you want a second one? My dad will be here after the show." He'll sign it to someone. What a great Christmas present it makes. People come up and say, "I've already got it," and he goes, "Wouldn't you like another one?" My dad will sign it. So Hunter hustles, and he also hustles magazine subscriptions, which again, I mean, an essential and vital part of survival. Speaking of which, I must rush. Pam is back from her walk, and I need to go and stuff thousands of magazines. Did I tell you that? Oh, I told you what the cover story was. Yes, so how to become a best-selling author. I mean, it's the hustle and the grind, Sarah. Same with everything. To be honest, in any creative field on the East Coast, I don't know if anyone other than people that are obviously receiving just grant after grant after grant to do whatever they like, which is such a small minority of people. The rest of us basically have to hustle it, and that's really the thing. It's out there hustling it, and I and would I like everything to be easier? No, not really, because I need to keep busy to keep my brain occupied. So, I think if and who knows, maybe my second book will be it'll be less of me on the road selling it, and more just it's selling, but I love the fact that people discover the book through my comedy, and I love that people discover my comedy through the book. But really, it's just, yeah, it's out there hustling, doing as many readings, signings, and merch tables as possible. Steve Chaps Hampsey has asked the lovely question, and I appreciate this. Steve, he said, "Have you played golf? I do every day for the most part. Equal parts a maddening game, never to be mastered or winnable as you play against yourself. Your best score, the goal to meet and beat. Attainable, your best hope is to hit that one pure shot that gives you hope and teases you into that feeling that indeed, yes, I can do this. If you have not played the game, you must try it. It's fun." What a lovely message, Steve. Thank you. I have played golf properly once, Canada Day last year at Fox Harbour. What a great place to do it the once. I guess if you're going to do it once, that would be the place to do it. I guess it's a bit like if you're only going to have sex once, you'd do it with, I don't know, you do it with your wife, obviously. But a teenage me would have said Pamela Anderson, another Canadian Pam. But yes, I love crazy golf. Steve is my thing. I absolutely love it. But interesting, the way you describe golf, I do understand it. It goes back to this what we were talking about, the mental health thing, and focusing our brains and giving yourself this thing to focus on that both maddens you but also satisfies you. What you're describing there, in every respect, is stand up. To me, stand up is my golf, where it's maddening, never to be mastered or winnable. Sometimes your brain convinces you are playing against other people, but you're not. You are playing against yourself. Are you better than your last gig? Are you better than you were a year ago? Some people were born naturally funny. Some people were born naturally confident. I was not. So I'm not competing with anyone myself. Your best hope is that one pure shot that gives you hope, that one massive laugh, that one incredible gig. I come off stage after the Yip Cider gigs just thinking, oh my God, I mean, again, not to sound arrogant, but I come off those shows after at Yip Cider and think I'm quite good at this. I've just done like 90 minutes of stand up, and they've laughed constantly. Half of it was improvised, half of it was honed. I feel like people have been I feel like people feel good. But then you have one terrible one, and it's the ups and downs. So I mean, for me, golf is it. But I love that you love it, Steve, and I really hope that you and I get to chat in person about this. Big D's poutine. What are my thoughts on poutine? Thank you, Big D's. I love poutine. I'm very embarrassed to say I haven't been. I've heard so many wonderful things about Big D's, about your burgers. I have not had your poutine. I will come and try it, and I can't believe that I have not had it yet. A message from We Believe, which is an incredible event for the youth in the Maritimes. I'll quickly read their message. This is less of a question and more of just a plug. But they wrote to me, and as I have a policy, I'll read everything. Anything you guys send me, I will read. Anything I won't read is compliments. So don't send me compliments, please. Because I'm not an American comedian who wants you to sit and listen to them read out people telling them how amazing they are. Because I'm not Bert Kreischer or Tom Segura or really all of the others. We believe May 15th, 2025 event at TD Station, where Harbour Station used to be, by the way. All students in the Maritimes are welcome to attend. All schools are invited to attend. It's an uplifting event that brings together thousands of students from across the Maritimes with world-renowned speakers focusing on mental and physical health and the importance of service learning. This will be their third event at TD Station. This sounds absolutely wonderful. I know very well of the wonderful people behind this, and it sounds incredible. And mental physical health and the importance of service learning, all things that I, um, as you know, I'm a big proponent of, which reminds me, I did mention, didn't I? Yes, back to the YMCA this week, which is going to make me feel so good. Paula Carmont, perhaps an interview with a screenplay. Oh, perhaps Paula Carmont suggests that I should do an interview with a screenplay writer and actor or father-in-law actor, someone you know well. You are kindly referring to my father-in-law Barry Arthurs and my son Hunter Mullinger, who wrote and starred in The Peninsula, which many of you know has won even more awards this week. It had won Best Short Film at the Atlanta Film Festival. I can't believe it. And I know everyone's desperate to see it. We are just holding out because we want to premiere it at Atlantic Canada's premier film festival, Silver Wave in Fredericton. So we're just waiting to hear back from Silver Wave. Are we in? Are we in competition? Are we going to be there? And if so, the Atlantic Canadian premiere of The Peninsula, written by Hunter Mullinger, starring Hunter Mullinger, will take place hopefully this fall, which I think is next month. Oh no, it's November. It's the weekend of. It's from November 7th, which interestingly, again, we were going to go and see Toronto v Montreal that weekend, but we're not because of Silver Wave. So hopefully, anyway, we'll keep you posted. But thank you, and you're right, Paula. I should have. Nancy Regan has actually kindly asked to interview me and Hunter on Canadian Love Map, her amazing podcast, which you should all definitely check out. Just two more questions, then I will go and start stuffing envelopes and make breakfast for Pam. Maybe she's made me a smoothie. She makes the best smoothies, my wife. If you ever have, I was about to say, if you ever spend the night with my wife, don't. If you ever spend the morning with my wife, she makes the best smoothies. Jared Lewis Davidson, top 5 nicest places in New Brunswick. Oh my God, Jared, that's a hard one to answer, but because you know I love all of New Brunswick. But I'm going to start with obviously number 1, Miramichi. This is not in order, by the way. Top 5 nicest places. I guess I'm gonna answer this question every week, Jared, using different criteria. Each week it's going to be different criteria. This is a great question. Best places to live. As you all know, I get contacted all the time by Brits and Americans and upper Canadians looking to move here, and asking me this similar question. So I'll do the top 5 nicest places. My favorite places to visit / could live in New Brunswick are A, Miramichi. Love the people, love the place, love the views, love the atmosphere. It's where we filmed our sitcom. It's where I've had probably some of my best gigs, and I love Mayor Adam Norton. So Miramichi, Sussex, New Brunswick, I absolutely love. I actually would like to live there, to be honest. I love the high street. I love the way that they have that beautiful main street that you can, if you live nearby, you can walk there. You can go to beautiful cafes. You can go to a gorgeous art centre. The Axe is one of my favourite art centres anywhere in the world. They've got an amazing sushi restaurant. I love the All Seasons. I love I love everything about Sussex. So Sussex would be my number 2. Again, these are not in order. St Andrews obviously is the place that I intend to retire. I know I've seen rumours online before saying that I'm moving there. I'm not, because my family's here, and I do love living in Rothesay, New Brunswick, which is why Rothesay is my number 4th. And my 5th would have to be a toss-up. My greatest ever holiday was in Rexton, New Brunswick, but I don't know if it's my favourite place. That's just a personal thing. St Stephen, I love dearly, and hats off to Alan and his team at St Stephen, because the floral displays in St Stephen. If you like flowers and you feel sad that you don't get to go to the Chelsea Flower Show in London, go to St Stephen. Oh my word! Whoever is in charge of the floral arrangements on the high street in St Stephen, hats off. It is. I spent a wonderful day in St Stephen as part of my summer vacation, and you should all go there. Amazing pub in a train station. It's all my favourite things: flowers, pub, and train station. What an absolute joy. Oh my goodness, there's millions more questions. The rest are going to have to wait for next week, because we have to get this under an hour. Was many of you have asked. Matthew Joel Phillips kindly asked, did I get tickets for Oasis? I did not. Me and my friends Julian and Rob and Paul Wilson, who is the original Willow, and John Scafano, they were all we were all on Ticketmaster for 7 hours. I will just say hats off and God bless, and I'm happy for everyone that got tickets. My friend Omar Gandhi got tickets, and I'm genuinely so happy for him. I did not like Ticketmaster's approach. I don't understand how the system didn't work. I sat in line. I was then number one in line, then got through, and then it booted me out again. I also think that flexible pricing thing is pure evil. It's like, oh, we're gonna fight the scalpers. We're gonna fight the ticket touts by becoming the scalpers ourselves. They tailor the tickets $100, and it's really people were getting like almost like a gambler's hangover. This awful thing where they would sit there for 7 hours, get through, and the ticket's supposed to be $100. It suddenly says you have 60 seconds to decide. Do you want to now buy the tickets that have gone from £100 each to £350 each? That's 4 tickets for £1,400. You've got 59 seconds, 57 seconds, 56 seconds, 55 seconds. Blah blah blah. Book. And then suddenly you go, oh my god, I can't afford it. And they wonder why there's a financial crisis, why there's a credit crisis, why. I mean, I've talked before about the prevalence of gambling websites, gambling apps, the fact that sports gambling used to be illegal. Now you can't watch any sport without it being pushed on you. You're trying to watch a sport. Imagine being gambling addicts trying to watch a sport and it's saying, hey, download this app and it's free and then we'll give you $50 credit. Hey, just gamble that $50. Just gamble that. And that's literally equivalent as if AMBL was standing around outside AMBL with open liquor going, hey, smell this. Just one sip. Wouldn't it taste nice? Oh, just enjoy this, right? I mean, evil. So what Ticketmaster did was essentially the same as these gambling things. And all these people basically think, oh, I better book, but I've got to book because it's, and they didn't tell us they were doing that flexible or whatever it's called, in-demand pricing. And of course the ticket's in demand. It's Oasis's first tour in 15 years. We never thought they would get back together. Of course it's in demand. So to pretend it's a surprise it's in demand and so you're charging more is absolute evil. Ticketmaster, I know you'll never want to work with me because I'm a nobody, but I will say I will never work with Ticketmaster. And I will say Eventbrite are a joy to work with. There's loads more questions. Questions from my friend Tim Andrews, questions from my beautiful sister-in-law Julie Petition. So many amazing questions here. Chrissy Lynn. Oh my God. Anyway, I've got to go. Magazines to stuff, breakfast to make, children to get ready for school. Love you all. Thanks for listening. Please do send me more questions though, because next week I'm going to do the questions first, so I'm not rambling on forever. But as you can tell, I had a lot to get off my chest. I was going to say shelf. Thank you very much. Love you all. Thanks for listening. Email me comedy@jamesbelanger.com. I'm here for you, and if I can help you in the way that you all kindly help me, I would love to do so. Please keep laughing. Please keep smiling. Happy back to school week. And here's to a beautiful fall. Let's face it, it's the most beautiful season in New Brunswick, in Atlantic Canada, in Canada. So let's look forward to that and hope that we keep our nice tans for a couple more weeks. Although my eczema is playing up. What a way to end, my eczema. Doctor can't put me until next week. Anyway, on that bombshell, I look like I've got leprosy on my neck. That's it. Thanks for listening. Love you guys. You're awesome. Bye.
Mullinger's Weekly Ramble.